まもなく6番線に快速お面行きが参ります。
1, 2, 3, funky.
Hey everyone, I'm Ruby and I will finally be making my long-awaited trip to the land of the rising sun using what little remains of my post-weeb Japanese vernacular. And yeah, growing up I was a huge victim of weebicitis and also Koreabicitis for that matter, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, here's a little OOTD that will hopefully help me trudge through Tokyo streets without freezing my literal ass off. And for our Airbnb, we stayed in a traditional Japanese room, which entailed sleeping on the floor. But because the sheets were so comfy and soft, thankfully I didn't self-diagnose scoliosis the next morning. After getting lost several times using Tokyo's convoluted metro system, at last we arrived at the literal epitome of Japanese extremities. Shibuya 109. Fashion's epicenter is a legit shop till you drop mega madness consisting of 9 whole ass levels of female clothing. And after a solid 2 hours of shopping and selling my soul to the old consumerism, I was, in the words of Joanna Cedio, truly ravenous. And alas, the first round of ramen and hailing began at Oraichi Ramen, which I highly recommend you try for a unique experience of Japanese vending machine ramen. But before I forget, that day consisted of a haul of many kotsume accessories, but these are my favorite contributions to the rise of capitalism. In the afternoon, we visited the neighbouring Meiji Shrine. The majestic feeling that embraces you as you walk in a Japanese shrine is really only something you can experience by visiting yourself. Typically, these shrines also have chozobachi, as people observe traditions of cleansing their hands and mouths with water to purify themselves in a sense. And finally, upon arriving, we can marvel at the shrine in its full splendour, where you can make a wish and write it on these wooden plates, and then walk up the steps to offer some change, bring your hands together and pray. But yeah, look, I'd be happy if 1/10 of my wishes could even come true, because let's be real, the gods know I'm asking for a bit too much. Again, plagued by hunger, we headed back to Shibuya, and as it was Christmas Eve, unfortunately not in true Japanese fashion, which would actually be binge eating KFC, we went to a fully packed nabezo, which is that insanely popular all-you-can-eat shabu-shabu place that Mike Chen, the one and only Mike Chen, actually went to.
Hi, we're currently at Harajuku.
And yes, this is actually in Ometsando, which is like the super hip place that has all these unique shops, so my inner indie was screaming. And if you thought this day was over, you're wrong, as we ended this day in Roppongi, which had these cute German Christmas markets, and also Roppongi Hills Tower, which I unfortunately wasn't able to get good footage of, but here are 3 photos of me being a slightly less awkward bean. The next morning we bid a temporary goodbye to Tokyo as we braved the fierce winds of Hokkaido. No exaggeration, it was probably the coldest climate I have ever experienced. I just arrived at our Airbnb and it is freezing. Like, I cannot emphasize how cold it is, literally. So, just for little OOTD, I have my champion beanie. Actually, all of this is from Japan. This is a Pitto mask and this scarf is from Wego. I think it really complements the winter image that I'm trying to give off.
Are you okay?
I honestly don't understand.
Yeah,
I know that it's winter and days shorter, but like, honestly it's seriously so dark already and it's only 4 o'clock. How does this work?
Currently, I'm heading out to the Susukino area
in hope of actually getting some nourishment because I haven't had food in like 10 hours.
And an old friend, I'm so glad that we started talking again. Yo, turn up the radio, I love this song. Remember when we used to stay up all night long? How's it been going?
And alas, nourishment was received. We headed down Sapporo's famous ramen street where we inhaled ramen accompanied by chunks of butter, which is exactly what you should not be eating when you're on a diet like me. Currently we're at Tanuki Koji Street, also known as Beaver Street, and I must say it has many similarities to a lot of other Japanese markets that you see. For instance, like in Kyoto, you also get like this kind of like small Japanese shop vibe, so it's kind of cute.
Are we on again?
Soon after, the magical moment I'd been waiting for finally happened. It's actually snowing and I'm so happy, honestly.
Or just stay silent, either or, you know I'm compliant. Take a left up ahead, we're going towards the horizon. Don't stop going.
There's always something magical about first snowfall, and I'm just so delighted to see this in person, and it's just crazy. I'm just, yeah, elated. And yeah, you can probably tell, but I was finding it hard to speak. Yes, likely because of my ineptitude at forming a grammatically sound sentence at 19, but also because it was quite frankly -6 degrees. So I'm finally back at my little Airbnb from my little 7-Eleven local haul, and Japanese 7-Elevens are crazy. They sell the most typical Southern Asian treats kind of things. Literally, this is boba chocolate. What the heck? And then of course you can't go away without getting one of these. The chocolate bread from 7-Eleven, like if you do come here, please try it. It is literally heaven. So every day is literally colder than the one before, and today I'm heading to the famous chocolate factory here. I don't know how else to describe Shiroi Koibito, but as the winter wonderland, a heaven for Instagram pics, and of course the undeniable culprit of my massive weight gain to come in the next few months. This is the Otaru Canal, and it's not getting any warmer from here, so exploring the quirky Otaru shops was good. Eating the seafood there was even better, but I was hit by the truck of Japanese extremities once again by the music box factory. I wasn't even able to capture the sheer amount of music boxes there were because that place was bigger and brighter than my literal future. On a side note, like, just saying, but if I could marry a cheesecake, I actually would, and it would be this Latau cheesecake. Oh my god. And that is exactly why editing at 2 AM was just a bad idea from the start. And finally, ending the night on a warm bowl of unagi-don was probably the best thing that I could have wished for. So, this is the third day we're here, and I don't know if you can see it, but some pretty serious weather conditions that we're facing. Please send help. I'm now heading towards Sapporo TV Tower, and that's also where I'll be getting on a train to Banke ski area. Honestly, this is the first time that I've ever needed a freaking umbrella for snow. Jesus Christ. Currently on the ski lift, and conditions aren't that great, but I'm kind of sad because literally only 2 slopes are open, so a bit disappointing, but nevertheless the snow is really fluffy, so I guess that makes up for it. In retrospect, these shots of me modeling really do scream self-obsession and wannabe influencer. Please kill me now. Currently I just arrived at Jigokudani, which is hellishly cold, pun intended, because this is literally the Devil's Valley. And sorry for the following transition, I really tried. Now I'm taking a blindingly beautiful walk to the Oyanuma pool. It is quite a hike, so this is really testing my athletic abilities. Correction, I meant non-existent. No one told me this was exercise for days. Well. After making our perilous descent in darkness, we feasted on CIKI and the raw egg situation, in which I still don't understand how people don't fear the risk of salmonella, or is that just not a thing in Japan? I don't know. In Hakodate, we stayed at Pension Jokura, which is the most intriguing stay we've ever had. The actual interior of the home was so intricately decorated, you can't even imagine how much time and financial assets it would have taken to actually just build this. Shortly after, we visited Goryokaku Tower and Park to see it from bird's eye view and from below. But in reality, we hardly had any time to explore because we were actually late to the gondola ride that evening to the summit of Hakodate mountain, but I'll let the views speak for itself. Here's another montage to remind you just how cute our homestay was. And arriving back, we were actually greeted by the owner with the cutest gift of a pair of chopsticks for each of us, like even engraved with our own names. Like, I honestly just wish I could go back again soon. On the day of our departure, we were actually caught in a blizzard, so conditions were really hazardous. And after we set foot in the local morning fish market, we just headed straight to the airport to return once again to Tokyo. Arriving back at Tokyo on New Year's Eve can only be described as hectic, I guess, given the amount of additional tourists at the time on top of Tokyo's already existent overpopulation. So we were pretty much at Asukaza to just watch people move at a non-existent pace, if you know what I mean. But nevertheless, the street food was delish as always, and Chef Nimi here certainly approves. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do much the last day here apart from doing some last minute shopping at Amaye Yokocho. So I guess I'll end this vlog with a shot of our final izakaya crawl, and hopefully I'll see you soon when I decide to finally make another video. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.